Ever wondered how to use microtones to spice up your jazz harmonies?
Totally. I thought I was the only one thinking about that.
Well then, let's dive right into it. The rabbit hole goes really deep on this one.
Here between the lines.
In our last video, we introduced you to the overtone series and the alternative tuning system called 31-tone equal temperament, which has a lot of better approximations of the overtones than 12th does.
Today, we'll take a look at different kinds of chords within 31-tet. We will recognize old friends and we'll meet some new folks on our journey. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Then close your eyes and listen. You probably recognize these chords from your own musical experience. Now I will play each chord again, but this time twice. Listen carefully. Did you hear those slight changes of color? You just heard two different shades of common Western triads. As you probably know already, a basic triad consists of two thirds. In the overtone series, thirds have different sizes as compared to the standard Western tuning system. 31-tet approximates the thirds in the overtone series more closely. That means major and minor triads, but also diminished and augmented structures will be adjusted accordingly. All you need to know is that the major thirds are approximately 14 cents smaller in nature and minor thirds around 15 cents bigger. In 31-tet, the major third is about 13 cents smaller compared to 12-tet and the minor third around 10 cents bigger. All possible inversions also work with the same formula. Major and minor chords have a minor and a major third each in the root position. Therefore, most of the structure translates well from 12 to 31-tet. But for diminished and augmented chords, things change a little. Since the diminished chord only consists of minor thirds, which are slightly larger in 31-tet, it will grow with every added minor third. Same goes for the augmented chord, only the other way around. It shrinks. It gets completely crazy when you reach the octave, because you won't reach it. Usually, in 12-tet, if you stack 4 minor thirds on top of each other, you'll be an octave higher from where you started. But if all your thirds are bigger now by approximately 10 cents, the octave is about 40 cents higher. That is a fifth tone difference, also called diesis. This is the smallest step size in 31-tet, so in this tuning system, diminished structures don't loop around after 4 iterations, but instead spiral towards new notes. The same goes for augmented structures, just the other way around. They shrink so much that the almost octave is a fifth tone lower.
Wow, so many possibilities to modulate or to recolor already. Just imagine what you could do with chords that have sevenths or tensions in them now.
Hit me.
In jazz music, chords usually have a major or minor seventh included. 31-tet's major seventh approximates the 15th overtone better than 12-tet does. Since it is the fifth above the readjusted lower major third, it is lowered as well. It gets really interesting when we listen to the 7th. This is the 7th harmonic. Notice how it sounds similar to the minor 7th? They differ by about 31 cents. 31-tet offers an approximation of both the minor and the harmonic 7th. So it is possible to generate sounds that make use of an overtonal sound. This works really well with dominant 7th chords too. Arguably, the tension that a dominant 7th chord usually creates kind of vanishes when working with intervals that are all related to one fundamentals overtone series. But this is a new color that cannot be created within the confines of 12-tet. There is a downside though. The regular minor 7th is more out of tune than its relative from 12-tet, at least in a dominant 7th context. It works wonderfully with the minor 7th chord, since it is the 5th above the higher minor third, but not as much with the major third. But there is a way to include that note as well. A minor 7th could also be calculated as 2 stacked fourths above the root note. Creating a voicing with fourths would result in a 7 sus chord. With that in mind, let's move on to ninths.
Yeah, about that. we might have been a little too euphoric about 31 Tet. It does bring better approximations of most overtones, that's still true. But there's one interval that is a little less close to the overtone series in 31 Tet compared to 12. It's the fifth. Don't get us all wrong, it still sounds very much like a fifth, it's just a little bit more off than in 12. The problem is that small deviations get more significant when you add them together. The ninth is the fifth above the fifth, and that makes the ninth the least well-tuned interval of a major scale in 31 Tet.
But there are more options for ninths. In 12th Tet theory of harmony, there is a major and a minor ninth. The latter often gets used in a dominant context. This works because the major third, fifth, minor seventh, and minor ninth form a diminished triad. So the interval between the minor seventh and the minor ninth is a minor third. Working in 31 Tet, we use a harmonic seventh instead of a minor seventh. And if we want to keep the interval between the seventh and flat 9, the latter needs to move down a diesis as well. One could call this a sharp 8, but it still has that flat 9 flavor to it.
From now on, it becomes clear that the new possibilities for adding tensions become more and more alien. But that does not mean that they are more dissonant. As long as they follow the overtone series, they will bring some kind of stability with them. And all other tensions that we use and know are still possible.
Definitely. The next one is an interval that we call the shat 11. It's the interval right between the fourth and the augmented fourth, the approximation of the 11th overtone. Because the major third and the natural seventh share that O-tonal connection, they can work together in a chord that sounds related to a dominant seventh sharp 11 chord. Same goes for the 13th overtone, which would be a flarp 13 in our case. It aligns with the other overtone approximations. And it is a minor third above the shat 11, which makes it even more stable. Play them all together, and you will have a crazy jazz chord rooted in the overtone series.
Okay. Now we have demonstrated the tip of the iceberg of what kinds of chords are possible within 31 Tet. 13 limit chords. The main difference is that we can use retuned notes to create smooth versions of common chords and/or add tensions that are related to the overtone series.
And those newly added tensions are perfect starting points for modulating with pivots, for example. That shat 11 could become a sharp 11 in the next chord, and voila, we're a fifth tone lower.
In the next episode, we'll be looking into blues music and how it might be related to the makamat. If you want to learn more about microtonality, check out our channel, where we dive into other micro topics.